Good morning and welcome to day 2 of Radio Row. Today is Tuesday, February 6th. We kicking off the morning with energy. And I mean that literally, folks, with energy. I'm going to introduce Andrew. Let's just start by talking about the energy that this brings. Then we'll go back and talk about football and the work you're doing in the nonprofit space. Start us off. I came in with coffee. I'm walking out with this. Andrew, tell us about this.
Yeah, so we started Braintree Nutrition towards the end of my NFL career after witnessing prolonged head trauma on myself and my peers. And so we set out to formulate a line of products to help enhance and preserve your cognitive function, everything from focus, memory, neuroprotection, stress and anxiety, sleep. And what you have there is our Brain Water Electrolyte Plus Focus. So that's kind of like your morning brain and body boosting elixir to kind of prime you for the day. I would have loved for you to have drinking the brain water before the coffee, but we still have time because your hydration is a huge part of your cognitive function. And so after you go all night without drinking any water, we always say that you should have one of those first thing in the morning. Then you can have your cup of coffee and then you're smooth sailing for the rest of the day.
So I love that. And you and I spoke yesterday about this. I've had 8 concussions, some of those from sports, some of them from abuse, some of them from being clumsy. In addition to that, just life. 51, I'm a single mom, I have 8 kids. This does a lot, right? And I'm
Yes.
flipping this around. Like there's some
Yeah.
good ingredients in there.
It really helps with just a ton of different areas. As far as, if you're a working professional, an athlete, you're a weekend warrior, you're traveling all over the place. This is just an area that people kind of skip out on a lot. 75% of people are walking around dehydrated, and that kind of creates a cascade of different effects. And it's just one easy way, a sugar-free, delicious way to kind of, have energy all day long, kind of knock off the brain fog. And like you said, my older sister has 3 kids, and I give it to her. She takes it. She's like, this really helps me in the afternoons when I kind of have that dip, that crash to kind of, push through the rest of the day. So, kind of giving you that natural energy without having all the, caffeine and the stimulants. That way you can still go to sleep well at night.
So let's talk about something here. You say the word crash, and we talk about, the football career, and that just came up briefly. Whenever I speak with athletes and they start a business, it usually ties back to their experience, and they saw that there was a problem that they could fix. I'm guessing this is a result of a problem you saw in the NFL. Tell our listeners a little bit about your experiences in the NFL, who you played for, when, and where you saw the problem.
Yeah, so Braintree Nutrition solves a couple of problems that we faced while playing in the NFL. I played in the NFL for 12 years, mainly in Minnesota. My first year I was in Dallas, went to Minnesota for 9 years, went to Cleveland, went to Indianapolis, and I've always been health and wellness kind of nut, so to speak. But while I was playing, there weren't a lot of safe and transparent and clean products that guys could take to help with the focus issues, the memory issues, the neuroprotective issues from the repetitive TBIs and concussions. And obviously, we have very strict protocols on what we can take as athletes that don't have banned substances in it. So we hired my co-founder. His mom is our neurologist on our staff to help us validate all the studies and kind of help the formulations. And we just wanted to make a clean, safe product with transparent labels with no proprietary blends, so you know exactly what's in the product, and using ingredients that are backed by human clinical studies to be proven effective at the dosages that we put in there. The NFL also has very strict protocol on ADHD medication, and so even for me personally, kind of had some late onset of some ADHD symptoms that started to kick in, whether it was from the repetitive TBIs or just age in general, stress, who knows. But so I went to our team doctor to try to get a prescription. And they said, look, if you were a guy off the street, you definitely have all of the symptoms of ADHD, but through the NFL, you don't have a long enough history, so they're not going to approve this medication. So that was another part of it, was creating a product that was a natural product that could help you with these ADHD type symptoms and just to really help you focus. There's a huge mental part of the game in football. You have to memorize all these plays. Your memory recall has to be instant on the field, under pressure, under stress. And so that was why we chose the ingredients that we chose to help with those kind of memory recall. And a lot of them all have these neuroprotective benefits as well.
So I love that. I want to turn it over to Roy, but I want to just kind of kick it into gear when we're talking about ADHD and we're talking about brain health and the problems that you saw, the results from all of this. You've really turned your focus towards Alzheimer's. Roy,
Yeah,
let's switch.
good. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah, our co-founder, he also, we went to college together. He also played in the NFL, but he has a family history of Alzheimer's disease, and we wanted to do our part to, be on the forefront of degenerative brain disease. Yeah, me personally and my family haven't had anything. Obviously, I've started to see some age-related mental impairment with my mom, and so you start to, take those things a lot more serious when it starts to affect you. And so, like I said, I give it to my mom, my dad, my family. I am a customer of my own products, and I even had a very gruesome, really bad, basically career-ending concussion in my 12th season, and a lot of memory, a lot of brain fog, a lot of those issues, and through taking our line of longevity products, have been able to almost restore back to what I felt like was my normal baseline as far as being able to focus and have better memory on a lot of things. So, like I said, we kind of before we put all this together, we had all these ingredients. We were all taking them separately, and we thought we need to put these together. So that's when we kind of called in our medical team to go through and make sure all the formulas work synergistically together.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting, you talked about having that career-ending injury, but along the course of your career, right? One of the things I think we look at concussions and brain injuries differently now than 10 or 20 years ago, or when we talk to a lot of the former NFL players, right? The conversation with them is, how many concussions were you diagnosed with at the time, right? Compared to how many, looking back at what you know now, do you feel like you had over the course of your career?
That's a great question, because towards the end of my career is when they started to get more strict on that. Early in my career, it was one of those things that if you went to the locker room and passed the test, you could go back on the field. Now, if you get your bell rung, you're basically not going back in the game. And I think as you get older, you start to take those things more serious as well. When you're young, you're just trying to stay on the field. You're trying to keep your job. And unless you're just completely incapacitated, you're willing to kind of fight through it and keep playing. But as I got older, I always tried to tell young guys and hey, like, if you're not feeling right, you're actually hurting the team anyways, because you're not thinking clearly. You might miss an assignment. You might give up a touchdown. So it's not for just you. It's about the team as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's always interesting to me is going through that process, right? We see on the games and the announcements that there's sideline testing, or they'll take people back in the locker room. So I'd love to have you take us through that process of what they do with you preseason in terms of baseline concussion testing, and then from a sideline perspective in the middle of the game, if now the spotters are calling down and saying, no, that guy's got to come out of the game. What are they actually doing with them when they take them in the tent or back into the locker room?
Yeah, so you do a baseline test before the season, every season, and it's a bunch of different types of questions, memorization questions with words, numbers, shapes, all different types of kind of cognitive tests and assessments to give you a baseline. When you get a concussion, or the spotter or the independent neurologist or even your teammate says, hey, this guy is not feeling well, or go check him out, usually you kind of get the typical verbal questions of, what happened in the play, which is a huge indicator. If you don't remember what happened in the play, you're probably not right. they'll ask, what day is it? What time is it? What quarter are we in? What's the score? Who's winning? Just things like that to kind of see if you're kind of aware of just your immediate surroundings. And they see the play, so they know how severe it was or not. They can kind of tell, all right, this guy seems semi-normal. We'll take him back. Or if they can kind of already tell, wow, this guy is like out of it. Like they'll still take you back for the other test, but they know you're not going to go back in the game. And then you'll go back in the locker room, and that'll be a more extensive kind of test. You won't ever do the computer baseline test during a game. So you'll go back into the locker room. Independent doc will take you through a series of tests again. They'll give you, oh gosh, they'll give you like a series of words that you have to memorize, and they'll just kind of randomly throughout the test ask you about it. You'll have to do a kind of walking the line balance test, standing on one foot balance, holding, like touching your nose, eye test, and a series of tests like that. But usually once you go, if you make it back to the locker room, that means that it was severe enough to where they think that you're not going back in the game. Sometimes they have to do that kind of blue tent quick assessment just because, and they can kind of tell right away, like, okay, that wasn't actually a concussion or not.
Forward thinker. I want to, on the sidelines, we see the orange buckets of Gatorade, right? I'm not Gatorade, Pepsi, any of that. But would it make more sense for us to switch to more natural products for our players? Like, what does the future look like?
Yeah, I think the future will look like whoever has the biggest bank account to pay the highest contract dollars, probably what will still be on the sideline. And I would say that there has been a lot of people that perceive sugary Gatorade as a hydration solution due to the fact that it's on every sideline of every NFL game, but people don't think about the fact that that is a contract basis that they have to be there. But what a lot of guys do is they take that Gatorade and then they add stuff like that to it that actually helps you. So
see how we snuck that in there, Andrew?
Yeah. Yeah. I know I did. And even before we created this type of product like Brain Water, I would have my own extra kind of electrolyte type product to throw in there, just because you're just getting like basically sugar water with not essential electrolytes like we have in ours, just things that you actually need to help your brain and your body. So,
so let's talk about that real. The experience, played a bunch of years in the NFL. You know what it took to stay. For all of the kids, again, I have 8 kids. For all the kids who love sports, who maybe they're in high school and they just want to be able to play in college. What would be the 3, you said you're a health buff. What would be the 3 things you'd tell high school kids who want to just get to play in college as far as their nutrition and their workout routines go?
Well, I would actually probably go maybe even outside of that realm and start with school, because you can't play if you don't pass your classes, and no college is going to want you if you have failing grades. I was fortunate enough to where my mom stressed school a lot. I was only a 2-star recruit, so I don't think she saw that I was maybe going to make it that far. So she said, look, you need to focus on your school so you can get into a good school. So thankful for that. But I would say that's one of the main foundations that you'll have to have. You could be the best athlete and all that, but if you can't stay, passing your classes, you're not going to go anywhere. And then I would say from there is it's hard as a young kid to focus on nutrition. I would say even for me as a kid, I didn't necessarily eat healthy. You don't have the palate really as a young kid. If you can, kudos to you. But I would say just continue to work hard, work harder than everybody else. And I would say listen to your coaches and your teachers. Those are all 3 things I felt like I did as a kid that really helped me. I had good grades. I played every sport that I could, so I stayed out of trouble. and I just listened to my coaches, my teachers, and my parents. Between those three things, I was able to kind of make it to the next step, and that was, like I said, I was only a 2-star recruit, so I didn't have a ton of offers. The only reason I had a couple of offers was because I focused on my education and focused on grades while I was in high school. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but you'll never be wrong by kind of nailing down those kind of foundational areas.
I love that.
So as you look ahead now, you've got the brain water that we're looking at here, right? You set up a company, of Braintree Nutrition. What do you see as the evolution for the business over the next 3 years?
So we will continue to, as we research new ingredients that help with brain health, longevity, overall kind of vitality. And we're not opposed to also doing things that help with your body. They all work together. Your heart, your brain, everything's all connected. So we're always continuing to research new products, new ingredients, continuing to improve our current products and ingredients with any new studies that come out. So it's a constant cycle. You can never kind of stay with the same product, so to speak. You kind of have your couple that are kind of your base, but always continuing to roll out new products, and just really want to be able to help people. Like I said, we try to make our products affordable and available for people. There's a lot of companies out there that will charge probably twice of what we are to make the most margin that they can, whereas we wanted to make it to where even someone from my humble beginnings could not have to second guess about maybe getting one of these products. And so that's what happens, is a lot of these products price people out who might need some of these kind of brain health benefits. And so, like I said, we just want to be affordable, available. We want to help people think better, memorize better, overall feel better, sleep better, less stress. And those things all kind of play into your mental health as well.
So what's the best way for people to reach out to you directly or to find more information or purchase the products?
Yeah, so you can go to our website is braintreenutrition.com. You can find us on socials at Take Braintree. If you go to our website, braintreenutrition.com, we have a 35% off sale. We free shipping, money back guarantee. We're so confident in our products. We give a money back guarantee. If you take it and you think you don't like it, you thought it didn't work, we'll refund you your money. And for every purchase, we donate a portion of our proceeds to Alzheimer's research. So every little bit counts. Like I said, we're just kind of trying to do our part to help. As an athlete, you have to be very selfish in order to succeed in your career. It's very self-centered. You're focused on your workouts, your body, your time management on, getting ready for the season or getting ready for games. And so I've always kind of told myself I had to take care of myself before I could take care of others. So now that I'm done playing, it's allowed me to play long enough to where now I have the liberty to be able to help people out. And so this is kind of my way of doing that.
I love it. Andrew, you're doing deep work. You're doing it with purpose, passion, commitment, like everything that we tell kids go do in sports.
Mm-hmm.
You've transitioned that into business. And I think that's beautiful and amazing. And I'm grateful for you. I want to give you an opportunity. I'm sure that as we did this interview, there were one or two things that maybe we didn't ask that we should have. Is there anything that you want to add in, or do you have a message that'll inspire the kids or the people who are watching this? And then we'll close out.
I don't know if we missed anything, but I think if I had to do one last message for the kids, it's just to, I think like we talked about yesterday, is just there's no goal that's unattainable. If you want to do something, you can go do it, no matter what your background, where you come from. And any athletes out there, I always tell the young athletes just to play with confidence, like you belong there. That was probably one of my biggest issues maybe going through my career was, a 2-star recruit and then going to a small college and then being undrafted. You're always not sure if you even belong there. And then after 12 years, you look back and you're like, I belong here the whole time. So play with confidence, work hard, and whatever it is you want to do, just go do it.
I love it. Andrew, thank you so much for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm Kayla here with Roy, Andrew on Radio Row, Tuesday, February 6th, reminding you to live generously. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.